What's up everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter and we're back for a part 2 with the most common questions that are Googled about designers. I'm going to give you some answers. They may be right, they may be wrong, but they're going to be all me. I'm just going to type the word designers. How about, where do designers buy furniture? There's a lot of stuff about furniture in here. That's interesting. Where do designers find, ooh, there we go. That's a good one. Where do designers find inspiration, fonts, clients? Let's tackle a couple of these. Designers find inspiration all over the place, or at least they can. They're capable of, hopefully, finding inspiration everywhere. There's a lot of online sites. Maybe I'll put some of those links down in the description for fun places to find inspiration. So definitely online, but also kind of all around you. I find a lot of inspiration in print material, like magazines and layout. I love that kind of stuff. As well as architecture. I love shapes and lines and colors. So you can find inspiration kind of all around you. So that's like kind of the good news for designers. Where do designers find fonts? Oh man, all over the place, mainly online. I would think mainly online we find fonts like Google Fonts, Adobe Typekit, but there's also independent font foundries like Lost Type that you can go to that have really cool stuff. So just by doing a lot of Googling is where I find my fonts. Where do designers find clients? I would say 90% of it is most likely word of mouth. From a client that you already have, you find more clients. They spread the good word about your good work and your good service. Other places you can find clients in your local area. I did a whole video about this one time, but in your local area, finding places and people who need design work, you can do that. You can find clients on design sites, but I feel like they shortchange you and they don't give you the value you deserve. So my recommendation would be to stay away from those and find family members, friends, acquaintances, and start making friends online and seeing if you can do some design work for them. That's kind of how you find clients. Also, just make sure you get your work out there. So you find clients by showing your work really well. So have a portfolio, be putting stuff out there and submitting it in all sorts of places. You can find stuff there. Do designers need to code? That's an interesting. Do designers need to code? No, you don't need to code. There's a lot of ways that you can be a creative person or a professional designer without the need to code. I think it helps if you are in the realm of web design or, like front-end design or UI design. It definitely helps. You'll see a lot of job descriptions for companies looking for designers who also know at least the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, because I think there's a few reasons there. You understand like the medium in which you're designing for in that realm of design. So it's a nice to have, it's not a must have, I would say. I code, I think it's a lot of fun because not only can I design things, but I can implement them as well in code. So I think that's just really fun, and there's a lot of freedom in that, and it just feels exciting. So don't have to, but wink wink, maybe like suggestion, maybe you learn. Ooh, I like this one, let's do this one. Do designers charge for meetings? I don't know, what are your thoughts? Before I answer anything, leave your thoughts down in the comments right now. Do designers charge for meetings? Should they charge for meetings? My advice is yes, you should charge for meetings, because what are you doing in a meeting? You are using your creative skills to guide and give advice and lead the project in some way, to answer questions that the client or the person wouldn't have had without you. So they are buying your expertise in that moment. I think it's totally fair for somebody to pay for your time in a meeting. Let's do it, charge for meetings. Also charge for your emails. Charge for the time you send those out too. Do designers need a degree? Absolutely not. It's a nice to have. It's not a must have. I started working in the creative field before I had a degree or before I went to school for design. So, do you need a degree? No. There are some awesome things you can get out of a traditional kind of like degree path, but it's not necessary. Do designers make a lot of money? You can. I think the designers that are doing well for themselves are not just designers, but they're also either entrepreneurs or they're kind of thought leaders. And they don't just settle at doing the work. They want more than that, or they're capable of more than that. So being multifaceted as a designer, I think, is what makes you more valuable, maybe, and be able to earn more. Why do designers use Mac? Well, I think at first Mac kind of like posed themselves as the operating system and the computer for creative people. So I think that's just a stigma that's kind of stuck. I know a lot of really talented designers that use Windows because a lot of like design tools are available now on all platforms. But I feel like the stigma, maybe it was those like commercials back in the day, like, hi, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC. Those kind of just stuck designers like, hey, we want something that's a little bit more user-friendly. And maybe also at that point, like, I don't want to dig in and understand what's happening in my C drive, like in a PC. I just want to use it to do my work kind of thing. Maybe that's why designers use Macs a little bit more. Why do designers hate Comic Sans? Because we are just passionate people. And Comic Sans has wronged us because it's funky, you know. It's that clip art like typography that got used a lot in like the early 90s and late 80s on everything, and it's just bad. Second runner up for bad, Papyrus. You know, Comic Sans, Papyrus, meh, don't use it. But we hate it because we're elitists about typography, because we love typography. Okay, why do designers use grids? I love this. Designers use grids because they help us establish rule sets in our designs, whether it's a typographic grid or whether it's a columned kind of grid for a web design. We use grids because it gives us rules and structure. And the best thing about creating rules and structure is then you know how to properly break the rules to have some fun, to make things interesting. So to kind of create structure and rules. When do designers work? Well, it kind of just depends. I think the cool thing about the design industry is that not everybody has to be on the same schedule and do the same thing. So it's not always, sometimes it is, but it's not always your standard 9 to 5 thing. If you're working freelance, you're working the hours that work best for you. When you're working for a startup or like remote like I do, I'm on a different time kind of schedule than the people in the main office. So I work at a different set of hours that work for me. I think a more interesting question is, when do designers work most efficiently? I would say that designers work most efficiently in large blocks of time. There's a really great blog post one time about the maker versus the manager schedule, and that blog post I'll link down in the description, but it talks a lot about how managers need kind of like small, kind of compartmentalized times so they can multitask and get lots of different things done. Well, the creative, the maker, needs large blocks of time so we can get our creative juices rolling into a rhythm and then stick with it. So transitioning a lot is really hard. That's why stopping to do meetings or, you know, getting interrupted for a question or coffee can be really, really hard for a creative. So we like large blocks of time. Well, that's it. That's part 2 of the most commonly Googled questions about designers. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I make lots of videos about design and development, so maybe you'll stick around. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I hope you guys are having an amazing week designing amazing things, making amazing things. I'll see you in the next one.